President Trump congratulating Venezuela's opposition leader Juan Guaido in a phone call, reinforcing that the United States supports him and the country's power struggle. That's the word from the White House this afternoon. You'll remember Guaido is leading the charge to topple the dictator there, Nicolas Maduro, who's been in power since what's being called a disputed election since 2013. Under Maduro, the once rich country has sunk into a deep humanitarian and economic crisis that's forced millions of people to leave the country and millions more to live in starvation in some cases. Guaido declared himself interim president last week and swore himself into office. He says Venezuela's constitution does indeed allow that because he claims Maduro's recent re-election was nothing short of a sham. Thousands of anti-Maduro demonstrators supported Guaido, as did the United States and many of our allies. Venezuelans taking to the streets again today, Guaido encouraging people to leave their homes and jobs for 2 hours of demonstrations to demand that Maduro resign. The disputed president now says that he's willing to talk with the opposition, but he's refusing to step down. These are pictures from state TV. Maduro visiting a military base today, a show of force. So far, Venezuela's military is still publicly supporting him. Meantime, Guaido, the opposition guy, gave his first U.S. interview since all of this started to the Fox Business Network. He said he's optimistic about the future of his country.
Support us. We are sure that we are starting the change. This is the last chapter of change, the last chapter of a nightmare for many citizens that were forced to migrate, that were forced to leave their country. So we're waking up from that nightmare, and we're waking up to dream in a prosperous Venezuela.
Guaido with Trish Regan on FBN. Now to Steve Harrigan, who's live for us, Caracas, Venezuela. Steve.
Shepard, it was an unusual demonstration today. It was well organized. It was planned, just 2 hours long, small scale. Come out of your office, say you don't want Maduro as president anymore, then go back to your office or back home. The real question is, where are these protests going to lead to? Guaido, the opposition leader, doesn't feel like he can bring the people out on the street every day. They are planning another major rally for Saturday, but where is the push going to come from? Guaido says he's optimistic. He got a important presidential call today from President Trump backing democracy here in Venezuela. But we're seeing Nicolas Maduro, the man who was reelected just last year in a disputed election, really shoring up his military support. If you watch state television here, all day long, it's Maduro with generals, Maduro with privates, even Maduro, who's a very large man, running in military drills in green fatigues with some of those soldiers. So where's the push going to come from? He has the loyalty, the publicly proclaimed loyalty of the top military officials, but are these demonstrators going to get close to the presidential palace? And when and if they do, how are the rank and file military soldiers there on the ground going to react? That's really not clear. We have real competition, too, between the two sides. On the one hand, you have Guaido getting a call from President Trump. On the other hand, you have Maduro getting a call from Russia's President Putin. So you have about 15 countries right now backing Maduro and about 50 backing Guaido. But the real question here is on the ground. Where is the push going to come from to get rid of a man called by many a dictator who right now has the security forces still under his thumb? Shepard.
Steve Harrigan, our eyes and ears from Caracas in Venezuela.